This year's TV shows are not just about escapism. They're also a reflection of our times, addressing important social issues, exploring diverse perspectives, and highlighting the complexities of the human experience. As we delve into the best TV shows of 2023, we'll witness the convergence of talent, technology, and storytelling, resulting in a golden age of television that promises to captivate, challenge, and inspire audiences like never before. So fasten your seatbelts and prepare for an exhilarating ride through the mesmerizing world of television in 2023. Number 10. Shrinking. Shrinking, created by Bill Lawrence, Jason Segel, and Brett Goldstein. This story about the power and dangers of radical honesty follows a grieving therapist who knows that the truth is not always justified and that the problems of patients require understanding and a lot of care. But when his own grief becomes too much, he starts to tell his clients exactly what he thinks, resulting in huge changes to people's lives, including his own. Your husband's a fucking tool. I'm sorry, but he has the energy of an 80s movie villain. Like, it would definitely sweep the leg if he was commanded to by a sensei. Well, it never stops, and I do everything. All he does is make coffee. Number 9. Beef. In the opening sequence of Netflix's Beef, created by Lee Sung-jin, down-on-his-luck contractor Danny Cho is pulling out of his spot in a hardware store parking lot when he nearly hits a white SUV. The driver in the other car, self-made entrepreneur Annie Law, doesn't just honk back at Danny, she flips him off. From there, things spiral out of control. Danny pursues Amy through the streets of Los Angeles, wreaking enough havoc in an affluent neighborhood that the chase goes viral. The road rage incident isn't just the initial setup of Beef. It perfectly encapsulates the rest of the series, which builds on needless escalations from characters so dismayed by the sad state of their lives that they're looking for any excuse to channel that pain elsewhere. The brilliance of Beef lies in how alike Danny and Amy are. What they hate about each other is a reflection of what they don't like about themselves, which culminates in a moving finale that finds the two protagonists stuck together in the middle of nowhere. From start to finish, Beef truly sizzles. Number 8. The Diplomat. The Diplomat is a political thriller television series created by Deborah Ken. Exploring the heated complications of modern-day politics, the show follows the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom, Kate Weiler, who lands her high-profile job in the midst of an international crisis. But she's not suited for the job and must get used to her new spotlight with tectonic implications for her marriage and her political future. It was probably wrong. Please, they're broke. They don't want to bomb somebody for taking their oil. They just want the oil back. To who? Russia? China? ISIS. Russia is not going to torpedo a British aircraft carrier. Number 7. Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy Jones and the Six is a musical drama miniseries created by Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber. Approached as if we were watching the actual documentation of an extravagant rock band. This exploration of the world of music is loosely based on the author's experience of seeing Fleetwood Mac on live television. As we witness a small rock band becoming a worldwide hit in the 70s, we also discover how this iconic band imploded at the height of its powers. Number 6. Silo. Silo is set in a sprawling underground bunker that houses the last remnants of humanity. For reasons unknown, the atmosphere above is toxic, and any curiosity about the outside world is punished by the powers that be. If someone asks to leave the silo, they'll get their wish and quickly perish. Something is clearly amiss, and the thrill of watching Silo is uncovering the show's mysteries alongside its characters. The cast is led by Rebecca Ferguson, who is beginning to carve out an impressive sci-fi resume. At its best, Silo is a cross between George Orwell and Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer. The levels of the silo function like a caste system, and inhabitants are constantly surveilled without their knowledge. Number 5. Succession. Could it be anything else? Succession pulled out all the stops in its 4th and final season. The shocking death of the Roy family patriarch, a ruthless free-for-all to attain the Waystar Royco throne, a fraught election night that will bring back the worst memories of 2016, and so much more. What remains miraculous about Succession is that creator Jesse Armstrong and his all-star writing staff have given viewers every reason to loathe its ensemble. Namely, Logan's self-destructive failed children, yet we can't help but feel sorry for them on some level. Whether it's Roman breaking down at Logan's funeral, the day after he helped call an election for an avowed fascist, or Shiv perpetuating a toxic cycle of codependency with Tom just to stop Kendall from being appointed Waystar's new CEO, these are deeply damaged people with a deeply damaging influence over the world. It's one of the many reasons Succession is the defining series of an era in which the 1% keep getting richer and the rest of the planet suffers for it. Number 4. Drops of God. Drops of God is a drama television series created by Kok Dong Tran, based on a beloved manga series and made in an incredibly cool style. The show follows a young French woman who discovers that her father has left her the world's greatest wine collection. But she knows almost nothing about wine, and to claim her inheritance, she must compete in 3 tests against his father's protege, a brilliant young oenologist who comes from a high-born Japanese family. That's why he wanted you both to battle it out. The winner of the 3 rounds test will inherit the entire estate, the house, and the wine collection. Number 3. Jury Duty. Jury Duty is a sitcom television series created by Lee Eisenberg and Gene Stupnitsky. Outrageously funny and over-the-top absurd, this parody of reality TV sees a bunch of strangers called for jury duty. But actually, they are all paid actors and actresses in a fake court scenario whose goal is to make a mockery of the entire thing. Except one guy who is told that everything is real, and that he must focus on performing actual jury duty. Number 2. A Small Light. A Small Light is a biographical drama miniseries created by Joan Rader and Tony Fallon, shining new light on one of the world's most important stories, World War II and the strategic killing of Jewish people in Nazi Germany. A secretary named Mepgeis risks everything to help her Jewish employer, Otto Frank, father of Anne Frank, hide his family after the German invasion of the Netherlands. Number 1. Blue Lights. Blue Lights, created by Declan Lawn and Adam Patterson. Exploring a world of crime and investigation through a realistic and subtle sense, Blue Lights follows 3 probationary period police officers who have just started their service. One of them is a middle-aged mother who quit her job as a social worker and is now only weeks into her new job questioning every decision. Alongside 2 rookies, they all struggle under the immense pressure of the job. Do you agree with our list? Please let us know in the comments. If you think these were crazy, go and check out some of these videos, and don't forget to subscribe.